4 years after the events of Halloween Kills, 4 years, Laurie is living with her granddaughter Allison and is finishing writing her memoir. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since. Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. The year is 2022. It is almost October 31st. That means it is time for Halloween to Ends. Colin Mockery reviews Halloween Ends.
You've reached Hall in Mockery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our review of the Halloween Ends movie.
Yes, the saga has finally taken a nosedive into the Hudson River, just like Sully tried to do.
Yes, and unfortunately, he was unsuccessful.
But fortunately, this movie was successful.
That's right. Yes.
It's the end of a
Well, it's the end of an era.
Crazy to think about. Almost makes you want to shed a tear.
Michelle Myers is no more.
Yes, Logan Strobe is finally ready to... Oh, sorry, I forgot this whole table's on wheels. Atlanta's trying to reach his drink, and I'm pushing the table away from him. If you're listening to this and you're not watching it, go ahead, go to Spotify, check out the video version, because there's going to be some spooky stuff happening here. But this is Colin Mockery. If you've never heard the show, this is an episode where we review Halloween Ends.
Yes.
Settle in, Landon.
Settle in.
Get comfy.
Let me make sure we've settled into something that's in focus.
Sure, let me do this, and I'll be kind of casual, and he's going to go check the camera. Halloween Ends. This has been a long. It's been a few. What has it been? 6 years. When did Halloween the 40-year
2018, I believe.
2018. Okay, so 1978 was the original. Is that true?
I think so.
Yeah. So wow, it's only been 4 years. Feels like it's been a lot longer that we've been dealing with these films.
Well, 2018 comes out and revitalizes the franchise that has gone pretty much... no one likes any of the movies. Is that fair to say?
Yes, other than the first one.
And then... I know. Okay, before you guys start getting mad, I know. Halloween 3 is a perfect movie. Halloween 3 is actually really good. Michael Myers doesn't even know it, but it's actually funny, and they're doing something different, and that's all I actually need. I don't need any of the mythology to matter. I don't need any story. I just want something to be different, and that makes it actually good.
If you think about it, if it was just called maybe Season of the Witch, or they called it the Silver Shamrock movie, and they didn't put the Halloween in the title, people would have liked it. But they was waiting for Michael Myers to show up, and he does show up in a little cameo there on the TV. They're watching Halloween, so
that's the one that's good.
So David
Hasselhoff.
So David Allen Hasselhoff decides to throw together a trilogy. The first one is pretty good. The second one is worst movie ever made. And the third movie is...
basically, it's like Season of the Witch, where Michael Myers is just basically having a cameo. Because that's how little he's in it.
This was spoiled for me. I don't care much about I am interested in the Rotten Tomatoes of it all.
You are.
But I try not to look at it, because the critics and the people that are going on there and giving their popcorn rating, they have some sort of agenda. You know what I mean? They're not just asking everyone that's seen the movie. You have to go on there and say, yes, I liked this. Yes, I didn't like it. So I try not, and I don't want to cloud my view of something by saying, okay, most people think this is bad.
And we're all political agents, aren't we? We all have agendas, don't we?
Yeah, we're all sleeper agents as well. If I say the word Piccadilly Circus to you,
that's a fake gun, YouTube.
sorry, even if you need to cover it with the water gun emoji now that's on iOS. G-bus.
So look, before we get into how much I really despise this movie, I want to say
Thank you to Serta Mattress for sponsoring this episode.
and for sponsoring me sleeping through the Halloween trilogy. No, I want to say, like what you like, of course. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum.
Yes, like begets like, and we shall not be. If it's something that's yummy to you,
There are plenty of movies that I like that no one else does. But something irks me about people liking this movie. And it's something that irks me about people liking Star Wars The Last Jedi and probably a bunch of other movies similarly. And we'll get into it, but it's irksome to me. I'll start there. But let's just talk about the movie first, and then we can talk about the discourse around the movie. How about?
let's do that. Let's talk about the movie. Then we talk about the discourse. Where do we start? Do we just want to dive into the movie? Do we need to set up?
Well, okay, so let's set up Halloween 2018. Jamie Lee Curtis is so scared, so mad about 40 years ago. A strange man by the name of The Shape came around and killed everybody.
Yeah. And then she said, of course, the line that has been cemented in time. Is that the boogeyman?
I do believe that it actually was the boogeyman.
And then John Carpenter's like, cut. I gotta take a shit. Or whatever. This guy's crazy.
This guy's insane.
And we do have an activity coming up in the second half of the show.
Sure.
I say second half because we need plates. Think about it.
So 40 years later,
Stick around. 40 years later, she's
Larry
living,
Strode is
she's on a farm, much like we're on right now. She kind of lives away from society.
she's spent her entire life waiting for the day that Michael Myers returns because she knows that he will. She's made her house a fortress to defend against and defeat Michael Myers.
She's trained in Krav Maga.
No one believes her, by the way. No one believes her that Michael Myers is going to come back. Her family hates her, basically.
Mom, a serial killer came and killed your friends 40 years ago. We get it, but you need to keep living your life. He's not coming back. You've never seen the boogeyman, have you, Logan Strode? That's her daughter.
That's her daughter.
So to set it up, Larry Strode is the mom. Logan Strode is her daughter. And then her son, Pipsqueak McGee,
Your
is
son. Unlistenable, unwatchable. And that's what we want to replicate the Halloween ends.
Yes, you think this is
tradition.
unlistenable? Try to watch this movie.
Watch the movie. You can't hear a word. Okay, so then everyone in town. By the way,
Ow.
what's her name? Lori is right.
What's her name?
Lori is right. I told you, boys. She's right. Michael Myers breaks out of whatever, kills everyone in the town. Okay, fine. But, and then an hour later, the whole 2-hour movie Halloween Kills happens, where he kills even more people. Laurie says that he's actually transcending the human form. Every kill he kills makes him a bigger, beefier monster. Blah blah blah. He utterly destroys a whole mob of angry men.
Yeah, the kill count goes through the roof in this at the end of this film. He
kills.
slaughters a good chunk of the town.
Yeah.
I'm not saying hundreds of people.
No, but
I'm saying like a good couple dozen.
sure. And some, if as I recall, they mention about 1 billion times not only does evil die tonight, but the town has been infested with an evil that has become from the fear of Michael Myers, it has become an anger that turns into mob mentality and blah blah blah. Everyone's mean, everyone's angry, everyone's annoying.
So who's the real monster?
Yeah,
This is kind of the message of the movie.
sure.
Of course, as we all know, we are the virus. Humankind is the vermin.
And I am the walrus.
Oh, George.
Yes, Stanley. So, okay, he kills a bunch of people.
Yeah.
He kills
I was
Laurie
gonna
Strode's.
crack my spindrift.
Okay. He kills Laurie Strode's daughter, and the movie ends. So then we get into Halloween Ends.
Big twist at the end, if you ask me. Oh, they went there.
They went there. He kills the always appealing Judy Greer.
I want to set this up. Whose name in the movie? No joke. Logan Strode. Yeah, it is Karen. If you hear us say Karen, we're not talking about the big-haired ladies that want to talk to your manager.
I think one of them called the police on us for being outside too late.
They're being outside too late. Okay, you're being kind of a Logan Strobe. So she dies. Now, let's set this up.
Please, go ahead.
Laurie her life has been ruined by this man, right?
Yes.
40 years ago, killed all her friends, killed her family, whatever.
And in 3 hours on Halloween night in 2018, her daughter's killed, her daughter's husband's killed, the whole town is killed, but she was right. She was right to be scared. She was right to be nervous and right to be prepared for Mr. Michael Myers. Go ahead.
But imagine that. You waited, and all this preparation, and he still gets to you. Not only basically tries to kill you again, kills your daughter. And that brings us to, then he disappears for 4 years.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the beginning of Halloween Ends, where Laurie is doing fine.
She's actually quite happy. Not only does she not even worry about Michael Myers being around, she's got a house that's not...
She moved to a house that's more in town. No security measures.
No.
40 years ago, her friend she had for maybe 3-4 years in high school, wanted her to maybe smoke a little devil's lettuce with her. She said, no, thank you.
Absolutely not.
These friends that eventually you would part ways with in life, she cannot believe what happened to these people.
Right.
Her own daughter gets killed 4 years later. She says, what do you want me to do about it?
I have to move on.
Yeah.
I'll write my memoir.
Michael came to me in the night. So she's fine.
She's fine.
And she's even telling her granddaughter, whose mother has been killed by a serial killer, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Go party. Just go party. Go show your tits or something. For some reason, she says that.
She says it and she swears. She says a bad word. And then she throws pumpkin guts on the floor of her house.
She's acting insane. So here's this. All that buildup to me is all leading to my first point that Laurie makes...
Is your house on fire?
No, I'm kind of worried.
So, Landon...
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning of the film.
Sure.
Let's start from the top, and then we'll work our way down this nightmarish avenue. And if you like the movie, first of all, I know that one of us said to you that they can't understand how your brain works. But I'm sure we will get into some of the parts that we liked about the movie.
There were a few parts that I liked.
I didn't find any.
There are a few things that I like about the movie. And one big thing that I like about the movie that a lot of people are pointing to as the reason it's a great movie, and we'll get into it, but it is not one thing that almost works does not make a movie great.
Yeah, movies can have good ideas and be poorly executed.
Anyway.
Keep that in mind. So we start with the classic situation, a babysitter. Okay, the babysitter murders. That was going to be the name of the first movie. And so the guys play homage here to the movies of Halloween past by opening with a babysitter scene. And we meet a young man whom we've not met before.
And isn't it so awesome that men can be babysitters now?
The Babysitters Club with whence was once all females. Now even guys can...
boys do it. I don't know.
No, it is. It's good. And it's kind of putting it on its head. They're like, what if guys was babysitters now, right?
Yeah.
They're turning the thing on their head because we go, well, we remember the first movie and there was all girls.
Girls do babies.
But now this guy is his
Sitting on the
babies. So he's sitting on a baby, and this house is huge.
One of the biggest houses in Haddonfield. I always say that.
The staircases go round and round. They go all the way to the top.
So he's sitting there, and they go, did you hear about Michael Myers? And she goes, oh, by the way, little Tim Tom cannot sleep because he thinks of Michael Myers.
Keeps pissing himself because he's so pissing scared of Mr. Myers.
His sheets are contributing to about 97% of the plastic in the ocean. So you have to keep throwing them away because he's pissing all over them.
Yeah.
And he's like, the kid's like, okay. Turns out,
we'll call him Corey.
Well, for fun, we'll call him Corey. But it should be noted here that Corey finds out this little kid is kind of a screwball. Well, he says he's scared of Michael Myers, but he goes, Michael Myers is gonna get you, to Corey, and he's like, stop,
I'm 21. I'm not scared of anything. And then he kind of looks to the camera like, you'll find out later that I'm actually scared of high schoolers.
Yeah. High schoolers in this little Illinois town of New York City. We'll get to it. Hold on.
The marching band contingent of the high school is especially terrifying.
Whatever school that David Gordon Green and these guys went to, I want to know. So they're having a little fun around the house. You just know
Danny McBride was like, what if instead of the football players, it's actually the marching band? I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, no, let's turn everything on its head because just doing that will make this genius.
I'm fascinated by the high schools that filmmakers went to because I've never gone to a high school like the ones I've seen in movies. Sure, you had some.
Well, the town has made him evil.
That's true. The town.
So you always have to remember that.
We are the virus. This kid is playing hide and seek with Mr. Corey.
Well,
right?
So this is interesting.
First of all, and I think the mom was gonna.
Was the mom trying to?
Because she's like,
sit on the babysitter's head.
She goes, Corey, come here.
I know. I was like, uh-oh, this is about to get awesome.
Yeah. I thought something was gonna happen. She's like, really quick before we go out. And they're like, what's a song?
John Carpenter goes, all right, son, let's make the sexiest song we can think of.
I'll listen to John Carpenter's albums, but this guy's got it made with these 3 movies. All he has to do is keep going. Dee, 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 dee. The whole album is that.
Yeah.
It's
but
easy.
It's so good because it's actually a different time signature than your typical song. Okay.
So the mom takes Corey aside. She babysits on his head a little bit. And then the dad's like, we got to go. So they're gone. They play the hide and seek game.
But, okay, no, but she says, this is what I wanted to get to. The first thing where I was like, She says the boy's scared. Smash cut to them watching a scary movie.
Uh-huh.
Is that because the boy asked Corey to watch the movie? Or Corey was like, I don't care. He's just a dumb kid. I'm going to put on a scary movie that I want to watch.
And it's one that... So, and then one of the many baffling choices of characters doing stuff and then the writing being bad. So they're watching The Thing, and he's like, oh, you can't watch this scary movie. You're scared of the movie or whatever. And then the guy's head gets ripped off in terrifying fashion. A bad choice, first of all, to put one of what's known as one of the best horror movies of all time in your bad movie and think like, oh, let's show them a good movie and then we'll show them our bad movie. But then it rips the guy's head off. He's like, oh, actually, you know what? Maybe this was bad to show you.
Yeah.
You've seen the movie before.
You've seen the movie, and there was already a bunch of gross stuff happening.
Yeah.
That they were showing. And then finally one even grosser thing happens. You're like, actually, maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm going to have a pumpkin loaf.
And I want to point out here, Corey at this point in the movie seems like a cool guy. Not in the way that I want to be friends with him.
No,
but in the way that douchebags are cool.
Well, he's because they set up that he has this bright future, right? He's just making money for college, and he's going to be an engineer or something like that. So that's all cool. And, you know, he seems like a nice kid. He's just doing what, you know, making a little money on the side, that sort of thing.
Got a promising future, just like a couple of these frat boys that have gone to court for things they've done, and the judges say they have a bright future, and why would we send them to jail for a mistake they made? Anyways, heathen,
that's what I say.
So what, can I say that they played hide and seek now?
Well, no, because I want to keep talking about this for 30 minutes. It was interesting because as we find out, the town is evil. Everyone's become evil because of Michael Myers still, right? We see that. So is the kid, because when we get to the hide and seek part, the kid seems like he's evil.
Yeah, there's sort of a pox upon the houses of Haddonfield.
But is Corey evil? Like, is Corey already started his trajectory down Michael Myers' lane to get to the ultimate end goal? Or was this just one of those things where like, we can watch a scary movie. I'm a cool guy.
I think that's it, right? It's
That.
Halloween.
But that's the thing. You have to think about all these things once you realize in 2 seconds he's going to go the way of the Michael man.
But he doesn't mean to.
Well, no. Of course.
He's a scared pickle
man. Okay, they play hide and seek. Go ahead.
I don't think there's any hint in this that like, but actually,
this opening was fantastic.
I thought, okay,
the opening was the most promising start of a horror movie I've seen in some time.
Yeah, it made me, when it happens, I went, holy shit.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe they did this to this child.
Okay, so they go ahead. They play hide and seek.
They play hide and seek, and Corey's a little pipsqueak himself. The little kid actually is more brave, and he locks Corey in a room.
Yeah.
And Corey's like, okay, come on, stop playing around. Stop playing around, let me out. And I think, first I was mad because I was like, is Michael Myers in this room?
Well, what the movie does geniusly, and this is the last time I'm going to say that, is they show Corey with the pumpkin loaf.
Yeah,
cutting himself a slice of pumpkin loaf. And then when he goes back into the TV room, the kid's gone. And then he goes back through the kitchen, and the knife is gone. So you're saying, okay, Michelle Meals is in the building, but it's not. That's actually a good use of.
And you think because earlier in the night, he apparently has gotten a pumpkin loaf from the mom. And we know what happens when people start pumpkin loafing around in these movies.
What is it? Upending expectations. What do we call that? Subverting expectations.
Subverting, yeah.
This was actually a decent.
That's good.
This was a decent use of the subversion of expectation in one of these movies.
Yeah, it was decent. So, but what happens also that subverts your expectations is that he kicks this door open. A kid goes flying. His head explodes on the ground right as the mom and dad come home, and they go, "Happy birthday!"
And when they show the shot of them walking in right as he falls, and you like see his head,
yeah, and he bounces,
snaps. They're like, "Jeepers creepers, jeepers creepers, how'd you get them?"
And then Halloween ends, and I saw something that someone posted where they showed the title cards of Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, with Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. And they follow. He said, look, they use the same font and the same look, and even for Halloween 3, it has the same look. Isn't that crazy?
No.
Here's my thought. Okay, great. Good homage.
Sure.
Who cares? Is it, though, setting us up for the fact that we're not going to see much of Michael Myers?
You can say that. You can say all of this stuff like it means something.
Oh, this is what I had spoiled for me when I did check the Rotten Tomatoes score because I hated the last movie. So I said, I just want to see what's going on here. The first 2 reviews I see are like 1 star, a Michael Myers movie with no Michael Myers ? And then another one that said like 10 minutes of Michael Myers. And I was like, I ruined it for myself. Well, but it was good to, it was nice to know, I guess.
Here's my hot take. I don't want him in the movie at all.
Why is his mask aging the way it is? It's like Davy Jones. It's like got like barnacles and stuff on it.
Well, it got burnt in the first movie.
I don't care.
Okay.
So it ends with this, and this is where our treat comes in because the famous title opening, where what do we see next to as all the title things are happening?
The pumpkins.
A movie by the man. And this one is odd, right?
Yes, the pumpkins eat themselves. One pumpkin transforms into another pumpkin, transforms into another pumpkin. And when I said this on our regular show,
Regular show?
Whoa! Geez, guys, I'm a cartoon. So this is what's... Oh, my God. This is what was... immediately made me go, oh, no. We're doing the transformation, aren't we? Because the pumpkin is transforming into a different pumpkin, is transforming into a different pumpkin. Evil is transcending the body, and we are going to see multiple Michaels becoming Michaels, aren't we? That's what the first thought I had, because Halloween Kills sets up the fact that the whole town is evil.
Congratulations.
So you know that's where we're going. That's where we're headed.
And much like much like that movie, these pumpkins will now be eating pumpkins. Landon, what I've got here is a jack-o'-lantern cookie kit that comes with 4 sugar cookies, icing, and decorative sprinkles.
Why do you make me do homework?
Our mission, should you choose to accept it, and here's the thing, you can't choose. As we talk about the movie, people that watch this on Spotify, they go, why am I doing this? Well, because now you're going to see us doing an activity.
Stuff, yeah.
We got to turn these pumpkins into our own scary pumpkins from the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Because I went to the store to find those tiny pumpkin pies. You know how they have they're like $1.50 or whatever? Right. And I said, this will be funny because at some point something stupid happens with a pumpkin pie, which we'll get to. But I couldn't find them. So I got these instead.
I just hope it's worth it.
No. So yeah, the pumpkins are transforming into more and more pumpkins, and you see the pumpkin growing on the inside.
Yeah.
I don't care here or there about this.
It's fine. I actually like the look of it. Like, it looked cool, but it set me off in a mood when I first saw it that I knew I wasn't going to like the movie.
I'm going to take my jack-o'-lanterns. Here they are. Just a regular sugar cookie.
You get 2?
You get 2 too. Remember from Dumb and Dumber or whatever, Ace Ventura, or
not the tutu.
So then we cut. What happens after the intro?
I don't know.
We're 40 minutes in the episode.
Then
is this Laurie Strode writing in her little book?
Oh, probably. The nature of evil changes shape.
Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink, wink. About 80 times throughout the movie, she will say, evil changes shape.
And he is the shape.
He's the shape. We're the shape. Everyone's a shape. Hey, Bobby, Baba, hey, Baba, hey.
He's a shape. He's a shape. He's a shape. Because we're all shapes. God, it's just, she's all different now. She's like, I moved to a house in the city. Get out of what is it? What is in this city for any of you people? Haddonfield's this little podunk town where a man has done nothing but chop everyone's heads off, okay? But she goes, no, I'm going to embrace life.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm kind of like the Shaun White of this movie.
She's keeping track of her granddaughter at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Allison?
Yes.
Allison works as a nurse.
Mm-hmm. She helps people.
she's actually a helper of people. She actually cares about people. And Lori tells her, you have to go to this party at the local bar.
Yep.
And Kyle Richards from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is there. And she likes tarot cards now. I don't know. I would have liked to, as a Real Housewives stan and a Kyle stan, I would have liked to see more of Kyle. And I actually think that Kyle would, if given a different path in her life, I think she could have become one of our biggest stars. I think she has the talent, just from little things I've seen on The Real Housewives. I think that Kyle Richards could have been one of our great leading ladies, but unfortunately she had to have a family and become a family lady instead of a star. But I just wanted to throw that out there. What else are we talking about?
Do you think? Hey, did you see the Real Housewives, the new show, the cast? What is it called? There's a new Real Housewives
of
show.
Dubai.
Yeah. What do you think of that cast?
I haven't watched that one.
So there's someone doing tarot cards, and then she goes to the party, and she's like, "I'm gonna have fun." And I see this. Look at this. Oh my god, this is such a stupid idea. By the way, the orange icing is not coming out.
Okay? Neither's green. Okay, Corey.
This is where the movie completely starts to fall apart for me.
Well, we can kind of fast forward through some of this because basically Allison,
same thing.
Corey works at a junkyard now.
With his dad?
With his stepdad. And we set up the big metal cruncher, Chekhov's cruncher. We know someone's getting crunched in the cruncher. So you see that immediately, and you're like, oh, wait, good. I can't wait for Michael to throw someone in there. Of course, maybe it's Michael himself that gets thrown in there.
Okay, so the black icing is all coming out of the back.
Back in black. Or should I say, black in back? Or should I say, black out back?
Okay.
So Corey works there. He was supposed to be an engineer, but of course he accidentally killed a boy, so his whole life was ruined, which is a great little setup, I think, for what could be a very interesting movie.
This is what makes me mad. I think the idea behind this movie is interesting. Yeah. It's much more interesting than Halloween Kills.
Of course.
What you do with this story of Michael Myers 40 years after the first one, which is very tame compared to the movies of today.
Yes.
And it's like, how do we take this that still is popular, it's still a famous story, it's still a good movie for when it came out, and update it? Well, the story behind this is interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just so, I don't understand the writing of these movies.
Well, everyone talks either like they're stupid or like they're in a movie, which always makes me mad.
Yeah.
Like, they're either talking... we'll get to this in a second, because Allison... So, Jamie Lee Curtis sees Corey, man, getting harassed by teenagers at the gas station because they recognize that he was the guy that killed a little boy. So they're like, hey, you're that guy that killed a little boy. And he's like, I didn't, you know how it didn't actually go like that. And they're like, yeah, shut up. Why don't you go buy some booze or we're going to harass you?
Hey, what do you mean, no thank you? You're not going to go buy us a couple of boozes?
That's right. They're from New York.
The accent choice blows my mind. Because it's like, well, how do bullies talk? Like, this kid was like,
I get to be in a movie and be a bully.
This kid pissed me off. The fact that no one was like, hey, you're in Illinois.
Yeah.
Like, just talk like a person that's mean. And I'm going to add a couple sprinkles here.
So, but Jamie Lee Curtis sees him and is like, hey, you're an idiot. My granddaughter will love you.
Yeah.
I don't really get that. She sees that he's also gone through a traumatic event, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I do get it. Here's the thing. All of the things that you think are smart, I understand. It's just not executed well. That's what's annoying to me, because it is the Last Jedi thing where it's like, well, this actually does subvert expectations and is a smart idea. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work within the context of a saga.
No.
And it's executed poorly. Of course, The Last Jedi is the most beautiful of all Star Wars movies.
And here's the other thing. Is this guy, so we're supposed to immediately go, okay, so he's a tasty snack that everyone wants to chow down on. From grandparents to young kids. Okay?
I don't think that's what we're supposed to think.
Well, she's like, he's cute. Like, you should date him. Like, okay, but is it because you feel bad for him?
Right.
Because his personality is a 0.
Yeah, and you should ditch the 0. I'm sorry. Ditch the 0 and get with the hero.
Yeah. And she does it.
But
she's like,
she doesn't.
There's something about, and she's drawn to he's been through something traumatic.
Yes. And
she has too.
Yes. And therefore they become thick as thieves. They do go to the party.
Overnight.
They immediately connect on a level that is only in movies, and that's fine, I guess. We'll give you that. I'll give them that, because they were like immediately like, we're gonna leave town tomorrow. I'm that in love with you. It's like, okay, I guess it all happened in one night.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy, but you're like, please don't go, Corey. I want to stick you on my liquor.
And also, she's like, is fine with living in this town until he's like, this town is a cancer.
And she's like, I want to burn it down. Light my match, baby.
Did she ever have a problem with her with Laurie in the first movies? Like, wasn't it her mom?
Her mom was kind of like, well, your grandma's crazy, blah, 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 that kind of thing.
And she's like, well, I still want to see grandma. And then in this one, she's like, can't stand her. She's like, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no serial killers. They don't exist.
I don't know. The issue with the granddaughter, to me, is that they set her up to be going down the evil path with Mr. Quarryman. She's kind of fine with whatever he's doing, because she is literally like, yeah, let's burn this town to the ground. Let's all light the match and let's burn it, baby. I think they're going. I assumed that that's where this was going to go.
A little Bonnie and Clyde situation.
I assumed that when we do get to the point where Corey is in his Michael Myers mechanic suit, but a new mask, and he's
butt naked,
and he's got his scarecrow mask from the Halloween party. He's killing the doctor, and he's killing the nurse, the sexy nurse that does sleep with the doctor. I thought maybe she was going to be helping him and not just Michael Myers. But anyway, that's skipping ahead a little bit, because there's about an hour of movie where it's just them falling in love and we're just watching a weird love story, which is, again, that's fine if that's your movie. But here's where it comes back to me saying, pick one of the things. Do you want it to be the town is evil and anyone can become Michael Myers? Or do you want it to be this one specific guy has become Michael Myers and is infecting his loved ones, or loved one, I guess, because he doesn't really love his mom, even though she tries to kiss him on the mouth. And or do you want it to be about the original Michael Myers? You can't have it every single way and still make me think that it's a good movie, because it's not. I understand that you're trying to subvert my expectations with withholding Michael Myers and starting up a new Michael Myers. But it doesn't work if you just revert back to, actually he gets immediately killed by Laurie, and actually Michael Myers does come back, and actually Laurie does kill Michael Myers with the refrigerator.
Yeah, because why does this happen with this kid if the whole thing is actually about wrapping up the Laurie Strode of it all and the Michael Myers of it all? Because there's such a clumsy way to get this to work too. And this is, so they go to the party. Apparently when your kid has died, what you do is you go to a Halloween party. You go to a bar where there's a Halloween party. Why do you get to be having fun? Everyone can hear her somehow. It's the loudest party I've ever seen in my life.
It's the loudest party everyone can hear except for me at home. I have no idea what she said. I get what she said, but I don't know the words she said.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my TV, but it's not. It's the movie.
Yeah, she's mad that he's there. That's what we understand out of it. And he's like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So he leaves and he's like, I'm not what you think that I ought to be. And she's like, I love you.
She's like, where'd you go? And he's like, you weren't there for me. And she's like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know that was happening. And he's like,
and he gets mad at her, and then he has to like apologize later. So stupid.
It's clumsy. The whole thing's clumsy. So I don't care.
He goes on the bridge, and who drives by but the town bullies?
The town
bullies in their convertible.
Well, it's the kid killer back for more.
And then there's the one girl that's like, come on, don't throw him over the bridge. That's literally you're going to murder him. They're like, shut up, Susie. We're not on the marching band for nothing.
And then she has probably the worst death.
Yeah,
everyone for some reason.
For some reason, she gets the most brutal of them all.
So they throw him over the bridge. And he's like, it was an accident. That's my story.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, Tommy.
How we all talked when we were 16 years old. When you kill someone.
When you kill someone, you say, yeah, we'll cover it up as an accident.
Why is Michael Myers living in a cement igloo? Has he been there for 4 years?
He's just been living in the sewer.
Just
that is also just a huge room. The sewers are big rooms. Everyone knows that.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that depiction of the sewer.
Sewers are kind of like jail cells, and then there's homeless people that are living next to it, but they don't live in the sewer where you could live away from the elements.
Right. Anyone like could have gone in there and just lived there. But
does he not eat? Because so with the Halloween movies, wasn't the point like
he's just a guy?
They got away from that he's just a guy, and it became a supernatural thing.
Right.
Like the only way he could possibly survive through whatever 6 or 7 films is evil is more than just. And I know John Carpenter said he wanted it to be like he is supernatural, like it's almost supernatural because he's just pure evil. Something that we've come to learn is just mental illness. But it's like he's supernatural because it's just so evil. And then that kind of became a literal thing. And then with the Halloween reboot, they said, well, we want it to just be, yes, he's not like, it's not they're not related. It's just this guy and he's come back. And then Halloween Kills completely throws that out of whack.
Yes.
And he is like a superhuman. And if you look at my cookie here, you can see that what I've done is I've created the pumpkin that breaks apart at the beginning of the film.
Yeah,
okay.
And me too.
And so it breaks apart, and you can see in there's an even more interesting pumpkin underneath, which is what I thought this movie would do. I thought it would reveal itself as a pumpkin, but it would break apart to reveal an even more interesting pumpkin.
Mine's just green. So let's see. Oh, okay. But so
he's thrown over the bridge.
Corey thrown over the bridge. He sees the homeless man who's like, I'm Michael Myers. And you're like, isn't that right?
Yeah.
The homeless guy says, I'm Michael Myers, pulls a knife out to stab Corey, and Corey flips the knife and stabs the homeless man.
Yeah.
Kills him.
And this unlocks something inside of him.
Well, and keep this in mind because Corey kills the homeless guy. He's now killed a boy and he's killed a homeless guy. The first one was an accident, so we'll call that's fine.
Second one was self-defense, stand your ground.
I guess, but okay. Does he meet Michael at that point? I think he does, right?
Well,
he goes in.
Oh,
yeah,
crap.
yeah. He goes in and Michael's behind him, grabs him.
No, because Michael takes him into. We're gonna
okay.
All
right,
so
I'm
mad.
so
Why
sorry.
He falls on the ground. They knock him off the side of the bridge.
Yeah,
he's unconscious. Michael drags him
Yes.
into the sewer.
Yes.
But then disappears. He drags him into the sewer.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up, and then he's in there by himself. And then Michael Myers is standing behind a little like gate watching him.
Cove, yeah.
And then he grabs his neck. So why didn't he kill him in the first place? Why is he grabbing his neck now?
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
And then he kind of gets some of his powers.
Is that what it is? I think
Well, it's like
Corey
he
gets
grabs his
Michael's
neck,
powers?
and I couldn't tell if his life was flashing before his eyes or if Michael Myers was like siphoning memories from him.
I think what I got from that moment is that Michael was recognizing the trauma that Corey had gone through and on some level they were simpatico at that point. So he lets him go because he realizes he is not trying to hurt Michael. He has been hurt.
These cookies are bad.
Yeah, they look bad. I didn't want to say anything because I know you did spend a lot of time baking them, but they look really bad.
I used a lot of salt instead of sugar.
That's
That'll
what it
be
is.
healthier.
Yeah. So then Corey and Michael make eye contact and become one.
And then I think he leaves,
Then Corey leaves.
and then that guy runs up to him and goes, "I'm Michael Myers."
See,
Right.
no, I don't think that's right.
He's been down there twice, I think is the problem.
Well, okay. All right. So
He kind of is like a Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
He keeps going under the bridge.
either way, it doesn't really matter because, well, it doesn't matter. It's a movie.
Has he been down there first? And then they throw him down there?
No, he gets
Okay.
thrown. We have seen down there because they set up that the homeless guy is down there
Uh-huh.
and that the hole is there. But I don't think he had been down there. He just got tossed and then I think, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Why is Michael Myers down there?
Well, that's what's interesting, isn't it?
How long has he been down there?
4 years.
Doing what? Waiting?
Yeah.
No.
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 No?
Why? The only reason he hasn't been back in 40 years is because he escapes. And the first thing he does is go back to this town.
Right.
And then he kills Laurie Strode's daughter. And then just leaves. And then for 4 years, he's just
In the bowels of Haddonfield.
waiting like predator to prey.
I don't know. Is he waiting for?
I mean, he's waiting around in something down
yeah,
there.
yeah, oh, yeah. He's stinky boy. Is he waiting for someone like Corey to come and take on the mantle?
He might be, right? This is the thing. It's so hard to talk about this movie because it defies
It doesn't make
like
sense.
logic of what.
I mean, on a as a metaphor, I think that's more of what they're going for. Like Michael Myers is now like in the heart of the city.
Yes.
He's in the bowels and is seeping out into everyone.
The movie is seeping with metaphor.
Yeah.
Everything that happens is supposed to be a metaphor.
But the problem with that
It's not realistic because people don't act this way.
Yeah, and it just becomes logic bending to the rules that you set up in your universe.
Your universe.
It breaks the rules that you've established in some ways. And it does. Look, I really don't care about the Halloween franchise. I don't care about Michael Myers. None of that. I know some people were upset that Michael Myers is basically sidelined until the last 10 minutes. And the fact that they promoted it as like the final battle between Laurie Strode and Michael, two 70-year-olds, I think, at
Yeah.
this point. I mean, the marketing was kind of geared towards that, so I understand some people were probably upset by that. I have no problem with Michael not being in the movie. I have an issue with you showing Michael kill 12 able-bodied men in Halloween Kills and then vanishing for 4 years and then not being able to take on the little boy that just got thrown over the side of a bridge by 14-year-olds.
What's he do? Punch him or something? And he like
they wrestle for a little bit and then he takes his mask. Corey takes Michael's mask.
he falls on the ground and can't get up.
Okay. So okay. He does go down 3 times to see Michael, I think, doesn't he? The second time being when he and Allison are at the diner and Allison's ex-boyfriend, who is a 56-year-old cop, for some reason, another thing of like, what? She's like 25 or something, and she, without any explanation, was dating
just a grown man that's like
at least 40 plus.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, sugar, I haven't heard from you in a while. Wait, you with Corey Cunningham?
Ah, the kid killer. All these people are comic book villains.
So Corey follows the cop. No, Corey gets followed by the cop.
Yeah.
The cop follows Corey down to where Corey knows Michael Myers lurks. And the cop discovers the homeless man that Corey killed. And he's like, geez, Louise, that's going to leave a mark. And then Corey strangles him, takes him into the sewer. Michael is there, and Corey says, show me how to do it, to Michael.
Yeah.
Now, is he asking Michael to show him how to kill? Can't be, right? Because he's already killed someone.
Yeah.
Is he showing Michael how to consume the powers of someone?
It must be, right? Because I think what they're trying to show us when the pipsqueak does push him down is that Michael
weak.
hasn't killed for 4 years.
Yeah.
Which, by my accounts, that means that he should have died before the new Halloween. Because for 40 years, he didn't kill anyone. And then he comes back strong, right?
Strong as ox.
He comes back and starts killing people. He doesn't come back weak and like, for 40 years, since I was a boy, I haven't killed anyone.
Right. Like I said, it's your metaphor, your allegorical stuff cannot fly in the face of the rules that you set up. It's just wrong. It shouldn't be done. David Allen Greer.
It defies God's law. Because then for 4 years, he's getting weak for some reason. He killed a bunch of people. And he's killed, at this point, more people than he's ever killed.
Yes.
At any point in this Halloween timeline.
Right. Yes.
I'd say that's more than enough to keep him going for a while.
At least for 4 years, no doubt.
If he killed a couple people when he was a boy and then he came back and he killed a couple people or whatever, and no, because that
unless, do you think that the movie is supposing that Michael Myers' evil has seeped from his body in the 4 years since he's gone? Because the thing with Corey happens where he accidentally kills a kid, and then we see a few different things where people like shot themselves in their truck, and there was another one that I don't remember. People are killing themselves on Halloween, basically.
Yeah.
In the wake of Michael Myers' assault of the town.
Right.
Do you think that Michael Myers being in the sewer or the aquifer is having his evil siphoned from him and out into the town? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Could be.
I don't know. Also, any information about Michael Myers we've just received as opinions based on no fact. Like, everything we know about him is just Laurie being like, Now I think Michael is stronger than a man. He's transcended man.
What do you think this is going to look like coming out? He's not a man. Somehow. This is just, it just pisses me off.
Okay.
Why is he not a man? Why does this exist in this world that is supposed to be so grounded in reality? The part that
I think you need to get over that.
The part of this movie that's supposed to scare people is that a guy could just come to your house and kill you.
Yeah.
For no reason.
For no reason.
He could just come into your house and kill you. I'm strong like ox, so to me, Michael Myers has never scared me as a character.
No.
I know when people are like, his face doesn't move. Okay, well, it's a mask. It doesn't scare me. I don't find it scary.
Sure.
But then I also don't understand what the point of the movie is, because the last one's like, oh, awesome. He tested out knives in this person as someone else was dying next to them.
Yeah.
I was just sad.
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of the movie is at that point.
Well, that's
like, yes, he killed them in the most brutal way.
And he like plays tricks on people to kill them in a brutal way.
And he pays homage to himself, like in the new one where he stabs someone to the wall, and you're like, are they gonna stick? Yeah,
they stick. And then Corey's putting his hand on the glass like, what was that? Was he trying to suck the power?
I think so.
Then how come he gets so easily killed by the old bag Laurie Strode? Who, okay, we have to keep going because there's so many more stupid things.
I look like a child. Hey, Landon's getting some wipes for me. Hey, thanks. I'm going to hold off on these because I'm still kind of
Oh, you're
with
still
this cookie.
chomping? Okay, so, yes, Michael kills the cop and then recharges.
Yep.
And then that's that. Let's see.
Stabs him.
So Corey finally learns how to stab someone.
But then something's different about Corey because of that. So it does transcend because she goes, I see it in his eyes. I saw Michael's eyes.
Yes, Laurie sees Michael's eyes. So now Laurie doesn't like Corey, but the granddaughter is already too in love. Mm-hmm. She can't see it. When obviously he's like very clearly changing.
Yeah.
And very clearly becoming more angry, evil,
but like cool.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. He's driving on his motorcycle.
Like he doesn't wear his glasses, his hair different.
And he's always wearing his mechanic outfit. An homage to Michael himself.
Why does Laurie still live here? Because everyone in this town is a dick. Like anytime they run into anyone, because like that just keeps giving him motivation, much like the Joker in Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Sure.
Be like, this town is actually the virus.
Right.
It's all these little pipsqueak white guys that are just like,
this town sucks.
they did this to me.
Yeah.
And then like the guy that owns the they get into a time machine and they go back to when there was radio stations. And there's a guy in the 70s. He comes out. He's like, hey, man. Hey, brother. Why don't you get off my lawn before I kick your ass, stupid ass?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're like, well, he's got to die because he's mean to them for some reason.
Uh-huh.
So then they, when they go to the radio station at like midnight and there's a lady working there.
Yeah.
As if this still happens. This is the other, like, they're just picking things that do not make sense. Radio stations are not open at 1 a.m. anymore. For decades, this has not been the case. Someone's not working there at midnight making Halloween decorations where a guy is spinning records.
See, that's the real issue.
In this little town.
That's the real issue.
And they all listen to this radio station.
And don't even get me started on the fact that we haven't heard about the radio station in the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
Unless maybe we did. I don't know. I didn't go back and rewatch, and I never will. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's the most popular thing in town in the 3rd movie because we didn't set that up yet because we didn't have the idea yet, which is fine. I get it. Sometimes new ideas come up, but this is not a new idea to have a radio station. It's an old idea, as my co-host of my radio show just pointed out.
It's bad.
But the worst part is, yes, he's literally spinning records. And you want me to believe that the all-white town of Haddonfield's most popular radio station is the black radio station?
Black radio, yeah.
Come on.
No, these people, if anyone voted for Trump, it's these people.
Yes.
Did you see the last movie? The guy's hitting people with a bat.
If you really want to show an indicting look at what small town America is, that ain't it.
This little town in Illinois has a radio station. No one in this town gets in their car and just has their phone. Their CarPlay doesn't pull up automatically. They're not just listening. They're listening to this same radio station that's only playing music from records.
All right, we've done. Yeah, they get it. We don't like the radio part. Well, we only get there because they're on the top of the roof and they're looking up at the radio tower. And he's like, I always look at this radio tower thinking about how tall I could be. Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of it makes any sense. It's all just garbage. It's all, even every time Laurie Strode is doing a voiceover, she's saying nothing. She's saying, the shape of evil changes. She says that over and over again. It's like, oh my God, we don't need this. We get it. She's writing a book and she keeps changing the last sentence of the book or whatever. I don't care.
And she has a good relationship with her granddaughter until she says, hey, you might want to watch out for this guy.
Yeah, he's seeming to be like kind of mean and weird now.
And then is this not on the news or anything? Like people are starting to die again in like weird ways. Is that not coming out? Like, oh, by the way, well, just in general, like your ex-boyfriend died.
I think it all happens. I think it's all supposed to have happened in the same night, basically.
I know, but no one's finding these people.
I don't know. I don't know. So what happened? So yeah, Corey goes on a killing spree. But Corey can't kill the doctor, or he messes it up. So Michael is also just there.
Yeah, he's kind of like shadowing him.
Yeah.
Like it's an internship.
Michael's making sure he like lives up to the Michael Myers legacy, I guess, or something. Why does Michael care? Who is Michael Myers? Why does he care? What the? Why does Michael care that anyone dies or lives? He's just a guy. He's an unmotivated killer.
And
isn't he?
You just said he's unmotivated. And Corey is picking people
that
are like, this guy's a gross, I don't know. He's like sleeping with a nurse and giving her promotions.
Yes.
And he was mean to...
He's mean to my girlfriend. So I'll kill him.
And then Michael's like, yes, let's do that one. He's killing people he just left and right. It's unmotivated. Parents, kid. He doesn't care. He's just... That is his thing.
That's Michael's thing.
But then he's like walking with Corey.
Just walk, yeah.
To this doctor's house. And he's like, okay, these ones, yeah.
Yeah. What do they talk about?
As they're walking?
Yeah. Do you think they talk? Do you think Corey even knew that Michael was going to be there to bail him out? Probably not, right?
I don't. So Michael followed him, like he better not mess this up. Why does he care? Like
that's what I mean. It's like,
what's in this for him? He's not paid to do this.
I think in my opinion, Michael's job is already done once he turns Corey into Michael Myers Jr. Because Michael Myers is evil incarnate, right? He's not a guy anymore. He's transcended the mortal flesh. He's evil. So I would think changing a young innocent boy into evil would be enough. I'm assuming that the studio was probably like, you can't just not have Michael in the movie.
Yeah.
So I imagine there is probably a script where the girlfriend is there to help him kill, and they said, well, we can't make the granddaughter of Laurie Strode evil.
Because wouldn't that make the most sense? And if so, say they are playing off for whatever reason they decide, well, the third Halloween movie didn't have Michael Myers, even though the point is it's a different story.
Right. It's not that at all.
It's just they thought, well, I thought we were going to make these different movies. And they said, well, let's not have him in this one. Doesn't that make more sense that he has become part of the town, like you're saying? They set it up. He's part of the town, and this guy becomes the new Michael Myers.
Right.
And then, yes, he's turning his girlfriend, but it's like, no, we have to have... Michael has to show up. We can't just do this without him.
I bet that so in almost all of the trailers leading up to this release, there was basically they only show the last clips from the last 5 minutes where Laurie is fighting Michael, and there's one specific shot that they always end it on, basically, where she throws down Michael onto the counter and starts to take his mask off. I imagine at some point that was the idea, that she's thinking she's fighting actual Michael Myers, and we pull that off and we reveal that it's Corey. I have to believe, and that would have been fine. That would have been fun. That would have been cool. To me, that's a much better movie. But here's what you do. You waste an hour and a half of my life watching some young man starting down the path of evil and becoming Michael Myers, becoming evil, and then you immediately revert back to what we already know. And that's not a good movie.
And because you do that, you condense everything else.
Yeah.
All this is taking place over most of it one night, but a couple days leading up to this night. And it's just, I get that you can't just be like, well, and then for the next year they form a relationship. I get that. But your idea doesn't make sense. Realistically, to just be like, okay, then he goes through all these steps very quickly. And they form this bond because they are so traumatized. But also, like, I don't know, the daughter doesn't seem that beat up about it. Otherwise, she's just kind of being a horny nurse.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
good. Okay, so
yeah, they could have made the movie be all Corey, and then maybe he finds, what does he do? How would he get the mask? You know, somehow that happens, and then
I think you let him have a new mask. He's got that scarecrow mask.
Because wouldn't that also maybe make sense in terms of she does get to symbolically kill Michael Myers?
Yes,
but we know that if it was whoever it was before, he can't be killed because an entire town of people cannot kill him.
Right.
But she stabs his hand to a table
and he can't move.
And then he can't get a fridge off of him.
Yeah. And then he does get his arm loose and is strangling grandma, and then granddaughter runs in like kind of a weird way, like she has to kind of run around the kitchen island. It's just like the staging is weird, and then she cracks his arm over the thing, and then they kill him. Laurie holds Michael's hand as she slits his wrist, and he bleeds out.
Yeah. Well, they cut his throat first.
Oh, right.
And then they go down the street. And he's bleeding.
He's bleeding all over.
Again, I mean, there could be other ways to do this.
But, well, and then they take him to the chomper, and he does get chomped.
Yeah, but first they have a processional.
Oh, yes,
where
the
they
whole
tie
town
him to the roof and say, you can't do this.
The town has to know.
Yeah, the sheriff shows up and he is christens it. He's like, we can do this. They drive down the street. He's on the roof, and then they crowd surf him to the front like it's a Green Day concert.
And they're like, do you have the time to listen to me whine?
And they turn the machine on and it goes.
They toss him in.
She stands way too close to the
I know,
edge.
like, God, he's going to, I still thought he's going to grab her.
He's going to grab her as he's going down.
Yeah. Like, or at least was going to give a thumbs up, like T2 when he's going into the lava pit. Give a thumbs up. But no, his head just gets smashed like a little crisper in the cruncher. And then, but here's the other thing. She goes on to say either to her old guy that comes by, and there's that whole side plot of the old guy.
Who cares? we get it. You were in the movie before. That you didn't have a relationship for 40 years.
But she says to him or something. Does she say to him, or maybe in her book, that like, even though Michael is dead, I know that evil does change shape or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're...
I think it's the book because you see her type shape and you're like,
Yeah.
because he's called that.
For the 80th time in the movie, you're like, okay, yes, I get it. Thank you. So we do, she killed Michael Myers, but obviously they're leaving it open for someone to change shape and become evil and Michael Myers again. Okay, whatever, fine. So Halloween ends with a whimper rather than a shout. Oh, no, there's one more thing that I really was upset by.
All right.
Yeah. We see Laurie having just talked to her granddaughter, and the granddaughter's like, I hate you, you're so stupid. Mm-hmm. She leaves. Laurie goes up to her room. She looks at a pumpkin that is... Does anyone have a jack-o'-lantern in their house?
And light
the candles
light the candle
and
in it? Yeah.
And not even in your living room or something where the whole family can enjoy, in your office. Anyway.
I thought she was going to bed also, because she did that, and I was like, do you light a candle in your jack-o'-lantern in your room before you fall asleep?
Well, she goes to look out the window where she once saw Michael, and she once saw Corey looking like Michael. And then
we get it.
She calls the police and says, I'd like to report a suicide at my house. And then we go back to Allison, who's looking for Mr. Coreyman, who then receives a call from the old retired sheriff saying, hey, how's your grandma? Heard she just called in a suicide. Which lets Allison know that she needs to get back to grandma's house. Why wouldn't you send the cops? Send the cops. She called for a reason. To send the cops, not to call the sheriff so the sheriff can call the granddaughter and say, did your grandma commit suicide or what? Send the cops.
What a bomb. Yeah, she calls them and says, I'd like to report a suicide at this address. So then no one goes. So they
40 minutes later, the cops finally show up. But it's... What? Hey, how's your grandma? I heard she just called in a suicide. What are you talking about? Yeah, she's fine. Yeah. She's like, no, she's at her house. I don't know. Yeah, well, she just reported a suicide at her house. Maybe you should call there? Maybe you should go to her house then? You know where she lives because we have to watch you guys talk for 10 minutes after the movie's done when you drop off freaking daylilies at her freaking front porch.
Just thought you'd like a couple daylilies. Because you're my daylily.
Oh, Peter.
Oh, Lois. Evil did really die tonight, huh? She's like, do you want to get a cup of damn fine coffee with me? And he's like, can I look at your Twin Peaks? No relationship for 40 years. And then everyone's like, yes, we've been standing this since that movie. No! What are you talking about? It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a relationship flick.
I don't care one way or another. It's just...
That's what I mean. I don't care.
Yeah.
Why is it like, oh, maybe she will have a happy ending after all. 2 70-year-olds.
Hey,
have nothing
old
in common.
people can love too.
That have nothing in common. One's a cop hater.
Yeah. Well, that just bothered me because... Well, and also, why did she do that anyway?
Yeah, I don't know.
She actually called the cops because I think she knew that Corey was there.
But was she going to call the cops? I took it as...
She wanted the cops to come.
She wanted the cops to come and then maybe see his body and think it was a suicide? Because couldn't you say, like, I'd like to call in a murder?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Or was it because he would hear that?
Yeah. I don't know.
You really didn't think I'd kill myself. And then, of course, so Corey is there, and I feel... Well, this is why... This is why it's confusing. Ow! Calling the suicide, and I think, okay, so then she's going to say that, and they're going to go, oh, it's a suicide. But when he is in the house, and she ends up killing him or whatever...
She shoots him twice. He falls off the banister, much like the kid at the beginning of the movie.
But then she cries. Like, she didn't mean... Because then she's like, oh, God, and she picks up the knife.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And then the daughter comes in.
Right.
So just stupid. Right. I hate this in any movie I've ever... Anything. I hate this.
Yeah, this sucks.
I hate it. They walk in at the moment when she happens to pick up his knife, and it looks like she stabbed him, and she's crying and going, no, I did. He was...
Yeah.
And that's what she sees. So she's like... And then she's not even... She's like... Grandma, you did it again. Like,
she leaves, but then
she leaves just kind of mad at her grandma, not just like my boyfriend.
Right. Well, but then at the end, once she does come back and help Grandma kill Michael,
come over,
and see that Corey was also trying to be Michael, she's like, "By the way, you were right. Corey was trying to be Michael." And like, yeah. Yeah, we know. It's just funny. It was like so nonchalant though. Like, I know I thought you were trying to just randomly kill people that I love and stuff for no reason because you're crazy, but actually you were right. He was, trying to be Michael. It's just piss. It's piss poor.
Also, remember when you were right the last two movies of...
I'm sorry, I still didn't believe you even though you've literally been right every single time. Now, I know there were 40 years where you were wrong, but
you eventually were right.
You eventually were right.
Then he did kill my mom's. And then what's to stop someone from turning at that? Like, wouldn't you also be paranoid?
Yeah. Here's a paranoid for you.
Hey. Ow. So I give this movie... Did it do box office?
No, because it was released a little simultaneously on Peacock.
Which everyone's mad about, and they said, you can't do that. You're ruining movies, because this movie made... I think it made like 10... Like, there was like 10 or $20 million that were missing. That was like... It was estimated to make... I don't know, 50 million opening weekend, and it only made 40. And people are blaming the Peacock, the like part streaming. Here's what I blame: you can't just put out a bad movie, and then the only reason I watched it
because it's on Peacock.
Because on Peacock.
Yeah.
And I said, well, might as well watch it. People aren't going to rush out to see you made a bad movie, and then you made a sequel to that movie that's worse, and you're blaming the Peacock. And like, well, if we hadn't released it on streaming. No, it's because people weren't that excited to see it. You have to make a good movie.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think it probably would have made more just because it is the end. But the drop off from week 1 to week 2, just by word of mouth being that it sucks, would have been insane. It would have been like a 90% drop off, I would imagine. But I think more people like me, as soon as I saw that they were restricting critic reviews, because they always do like an embargo on big movies like this, where you can't post your review of the movie until a day before, sometimes more, sometimes less. For this, it was like an hour before the first public screening. So that's always a sign that you know that the movie's bad. So as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, well, I wasn't going to see it in a theater anyway, but now I'm really glad that I can check it out on Peacock for free. I probably, given the divisive nature of it, it made me want to watch it more just to see where I fell, if I was smart or stupid. But
I saw people posting that they were confused by it, and that made me excited. Because it was more than just the last one where people were like, hey, this is a terrible.
Yeah.
People were just saying, I'm very confused by this film. And I go, okay, we're going to have a little fun tonight.
Mm-hmm. But it was, like I said, it's more interesting, certainly, than Halloween Kills. And I do like the idea of, well, here's a few things I like. I like the idea that the town can like kind of create just by the sort of fear and anger and blah blah blah. It's all very Star Wars actually, but that the town itself can kind of create a new villain. Where, because people are mad at Laurie, you brought Michael back. You're the reason my husband died. It's you. And that's kind of where she sees that in Corey. You're the guy that you're the evil man that killed that little boy, blah, blah, blah. They create their own villain, and then this Laurie is sort of the yin to the yang of Corey, where Corey just gives in and becomes that which he is said to be. I like that idea. If the movie were as smart as that idea, it would be a good movie. But the people that are saying now that it is actually that smart, and the people that are going to in 10 years when they look back and say, actually, Halloween Ends is really actually good, and Halloween Kills is actually a perfect way to set up Halloween Ends, and Halloween 2018 is actually good too. You're wrong. You're just wrong, because it's not in a vacuum. This movie is part of a trilogy. It is part of a saga. You can't subvert expectations and then ultimately solidify the expectations by the end and revert. There's nothing subverted by the end. That's the biggest issue I have with this and with The Last Jedi. You can subvert as much stuff in the 2 hours as you want, but if by the end nothing has changed, you didn't do anything.
We spent almost 2 hours watching this kid's story and watching this granddaughter for some reason change into like a Blade Runner person, where he's like, I got the gasoline, and she's like, I'll light the match. Who talks like? It's just bad writing all around. And then that you change her into this and this guy for what? Like you said, then he just gets killed. And Michael comes back, and the movie ends the same way. We could have just ended the last one.
Yeah.
She corners him. She gets him in a way that no one else got to him and kills him. And it changes nothing. This whole storyline we watched about this kid could have ended at least with an interesting twist. Yeah. And they did exactly what we wanted, be it studio pressure, be it pressure from just wanting to be faithful to some storyline, some movie that even the guy that created it doesn't care about anymore. He even said he's like, yeah, it's the last one unless they make more. Right. He doesn't care. He said he gets paid.
Right.
He's like, I don't like them except for the paycheck.
Well, and they left it open for the inevitable Halloween Begins or whatever. Yeah. Like, by saying that now I know evil does change shape or whatever the hell she says. We know what's going to happen. It's and also you just can reboot it. It doesn't have to be in the same continuity, but still the idea that, so I like that idea, but I don't care if it's the studio that made you do it. I don't care whose idea it is.
Well, no, because that's the movie.
That's the movie. I can't. I'm not going to talk about the hypothetical movie that the writers and the director would have liked to have made. Unfortunately, that's not the way it goes. So you did make a bad movie.
Did you see how the Rob Zombie Halloween 2?
No.
I had to rewatch that one. I remember that one being very, very weird.
Yeah. I've heard that those are all bad, right? But now maybe they're not.
That's why I kind of want to rewatch them. I know why people say they don't like at least the first one.
Because they made Michael.
They show him too much.
They show him too much.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they show the origin of a new Michael in this one, and people seem to enjoy that.
Oh, people enjoyed it so much.
Some people enjoy it, some people don't, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm happy that you like it. I'm happy that you like it if you like it. I just think the reasons for liking it. Here's the other thing too: is like a lot of people are like, "Well, it's finally something original again." Mm-hmm. For one, an evil town is not original. For two, as you said, it's basically the Joker, so that's not really original either. But I understand in the context of the Halloween mythology or whatever, the Halloween franchise, it's an original idea.
Because what else can you do with this guy at this point?
Which is fine, and I get that, but you're so starved for originality that you will eat up this mediocre slop as if it's intellectual, and it's not. It's just not. Maybe at the root of it, there is some smart stuff going on, but I'm not going to give these people the benefit of the doubt of who made Halloween Kills and this movie. I'm not going to say that they are some secret geniuses just because it's a little bit subversive and it's a little bit original. I'm not doing it.
I tried to get him to do it, folks.
I'm not going to. I'm sorry. You can't make me.
Well, you can't just have bad dialogue.
Yeah, that's like, it's bad. Like all the writing's
be bad. Like, well, but the idea, yeah, a lot of movies have good ideas behind them.
Yeah.
So, but the way that people, it's just bad dialogue. I don't understand these characters that are just, I get that it's supposed to be the town, but it's like these 4 kids that roll around town. Just like.
Yeah. Looking for him.
Yeah.
That's all they were doing. Right?
And then what was with Corey's mom, by the way? Like,
oh, she'd kiss him on the mouth. She'd
kiss him on the mouth, and then she's just overprotective. Is it because he murdered a child? Or is she just... Because that just seems like a whole other thing that doesn't really... It kind of plays into it. Like, he doesn't like his family.
Yeah.
But
it also kind of doesn't, because... As he says to Allison, why don't we just leave?
Yeah.
Just leave.
Because she's like, why are you doing it? Who are you texting under the table? You don't talk to me.
They're both 26 or something like that. You guys can go. Go. And then Allison's like, well, my grandma, she's obviously fine.
Oh, and then she says, all my memories are here, is what she tells him. He's like, haven't you ever thought about leaving? And she's like, oh, yeah. All my memories are here. And it's like, yeah, that's memories. You can go.
And also, aren't the bad memories of your whole family being slaughtered a little worse than...
All my memories are here. They'll still be here.
You can take some pictures with you, like a photo album of your mom and dad and stuff.
You need to remember the park across your street. Take a picture. It'll last longer.
So yeah, I think we need to stop every few years when these big studios trot out a subversive original idea. I think we need to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think we need to hold our entertainment to a higher standard, but also like what you like. I don't care.
I don't care.
Because I told you the other day that Paranormal Activity Next of Kin on Paramount Plus, completely derivative of everything that's ever happened before. But I really enjoyed it because it was fun.
You know what I liked? And I'll tell you off air.
Oh, okay.
But I watched the movie again, and much like this one, it was, if one thing was different about it, I think I would have liked it a lot better.
Interesting.
And it's something I've seen before and didn't realize until about... I want to say 60 to 75% into the movie, I went, okay, I have seen this. And I didn't remember what the twist was. And when the twist happened, my body, I had goosebumps all over my body. And I went, oh yeah, this is gruel. This is gruel.
This is cruel.
And then I went, oh, but if they would have done it a different way, it would have been maybe cooler.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll let you guys think about that. I'll bring it up on the next episode of Colin Mockery.
Yeah, we should get to that.
If you've got any questions or comments, did anyone call in? I think we got so many calls. Oh, crap.
Did we?
Well, we did, but I think they like clogged up the phone line.
Oh, yeah, that's usually what happens.
I think if more than like 2 or 3 people are trying to call at once the whole time, they just can't get through. Landon's going to check really quick.
Where did I put that?
He's like, apps. The bottom.
There it is. Why'd you call me that?
If you like this, you could check out our other shows where we talk about the stuff. Sometimes we do review episodes, but other times we're just taking your calls. 319-DUB-MIT. That's 319. D as in Doug. U as in Ugg.
Undercarriage.
B as in a different kind of undercarriage. A bottom. And then MIT, which is MIIT, which is like the...
Like the congressman.
Yeah.
What do we rate this and out of what?
Out of what?
Knives. That's too easy. Jack-o'-lanterns. That's too easy.
What's something kind of crazy? What size mechanic suit do you think he wears?
That's what we're rating it out of?
What size do you think it is?
Oh. Corey or the real one? Real one, XL. Corey, like a medium.
Medium. Okay, but is that like 15 and a half? You know what I mean?
Oh,
is
right.
It like
I don't know.
Okay, so Michael Myers is huge, so that's probably like
30.
Probably a 30.
Really?
So let's rate it out of 30.
Okay. I give it...
Sizes.
I'm going to give this a 15 out of 30. Sizes.
Wow, that's a solid... That's good. I'm going to give it I think a 12 out of 30.
Really?
Yeah. What would you rate the cookies?
0.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy that likes pretty much any sweet treat. Even if it's a bad one, I'll still eat it.
If it's any sort of frosted sugar cookie that you can buy in a package,
I usually
do not.
I usually don't.
Yeah.
Because they've been sitting around for about 6 Halloweens now.
Yeah. And mine was just covered in black icing, so that'll be exciting for later.
We will be sitting around for the next 6 Halloweens as well, because I'm sure we will get more from this franchise. Let me ask you this. What would you do if you were given the Halloween keys?
Well, isn't that interesting? I mean, they've done so much in this last film to kind of turn it on the town. Michael Myers. There's something... You know what I think? I want to see his face. Because everyone talks about how... everyone talks about the mask and how, well, his expression doesn't change. That's not scary because it's a mask. I want to see a guy that doesn't care.
Yeah.
I want to see him doing that stuff.
Sure.
Oh.
Freak.
But if you're going to... I want to see the guy that doesn't care.
Sure. That's kind of creepy.
His facial...
And like a
expression.
melted face or something.
Does he
have a bad... Like, does he have an ugly face? Or just like a normal face?
Just kind of a normal face.
Yeah.
But
he
everyone talks
care.
about like, well, his
No
like
remorse.
expression is no remorse. It's like... But that's a mask.
He might be going... under the mask, do you think he's like...
Yeah.
He's like, oh, God, I hate to do this, but... Where he's like... he's revving up. He's liking it.
That's what I want to see. But I want to see him have no... He's just going through like a machine.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
I would make Michael...
Maybe he's very pale, so he kind of resembles the mask.
Yeah, and has like weird hair.
Says somebody stop me.
I think... Here's what I would do. Michelle Myers.
Yeah.
That'll wake you up.
Yeah. They take the mask off at the end and they're like, it's Michelle Myers.
We don't make women villains enough.
Is that the boogeyman? He goes, no, my dear, it's the boogeywoman. And then the song at the end is like, I don't know, what's these bands you stupid people like? Five Finger Death Punch or something. Like, boogie woman, boogie woman, boogie woman, boogie woman.
Oh, I thought you were going to be, it's like Wet Leg or whatever, where it's like, you took me to the mall and you didn't even hold the door open, and I hate that more. Everyone wants to talk to me, but you can't because I have to pee, because I have to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
That's the song that plays at the end of
I don't know. There's just that one song it's like a lady, she's like, you shushed me at the cinema. And you're kind of like, well, don't talk at the cinema.
I like this. I think we might have a surprise for you all next Halloween.
What does that mean?
Oh, well, I think we're
gonna make Michelle Myers the Halloween.
You've seen American Psycho 2 with Mila Kunis.
Of course.
So it's possible.
If you really want to subvert expectations, just change the identity of the person. It never fails.
And if Five Finger Death Punch is listening to us,
we do. Like,
I didn't mean what I said.
If Wet Leg is out there, I do think you need to not be talking during the movie.
I'm about to have a wet leg. I had drinking all these beverages. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.